Who would win in a fight to the death? A Native American or a Viking? Let's say you had 10 Native Americans and you had 10 Vikings. Who do you think will win? We're about to watch a video that discusses Native Americans versus Vikings, who will win in a battle. Ooh, this should be fire. Shout out to the gang. Let's hop into it. Yeah, let's go. What's good, Dark Knight Gang? I'm Neptune. Hey bro, today I'm about to react to a video from History Dose, and this video is titled First Contact, the Vikings versus Native American Battles. Ooh, this should be fire. I'm choosing Vikings, bro. I think the Vikings will beat the Native Americans. Well, hold on. Let me not speak too fast. If the Vikings came to America, that'll be a fire-ass fight, because I feel like Native Americans, they're probably very tactical and they utilize Mother Earth. They'll be hiding in the grass and shit, blending in perfectly. When a Viking come by, they pull out their bow, shoot them with a bow. You know what I'm saying? Jumping out trees, stabbing them and shit. Oh, this is about to be fire. I don't know who would win, actually. Well, I guess whoever had home field advantage will win. Yeah. If Native Americans traveled to the Vikings, they would lose. If the Vikings came to Native America, or if they came to America and fought the Native Americans, they probably would lose. So whoever had home field advantage, I believe, would win. Now let's say they're at a neutral battleground. Who would win? Neutral battleground, Viking or a Native American, bro? Let me know down in the comments. I'm gonna go with Vikings. I think Vikings were probably a little bit more fierce. They were a little bit more just, And Native Americans, you know, they all about peace and love and being one with Mother Earth and being one with yourself and being in touch with your spirit. Whereas the Vikings are more so like, So I don't know, man. Neutral ground, I'm going Vikings. Anyway, I'm ready to hop into this video. Shout out to the gang. Let's go.
Under green cliffs runs a winding channel.
They're in California. Native Americans might get the dub.
Disturbed by a lone navigator, a man striking forward in a canoe meant for 3. The 8 companions with whom he set out have been abducted by pale and bearded men, armed with radiant weapons and shields. The man reaches his village, tells them of the ambush, and then rallies a war party for the counterattack. His people are native to the land. Long ago, their ancestors abandoned the Eurasian landscape, braved prehistoric seas and the tundra of mammoths, and settled deep into a world hitherto untouched by humans. As one age passed into the next, the bridge between the 2 hemispheres was broken, and each half of the planet diverged in mutual ignorance of the other. Millennia bore witness to the cyclical death and birth of great empires, peoples and languages, prophecy and faith.
Yo, I didn't know that this video was going to be this fire. This is a dope-ass intro already. I'm loving it, bro.
The Vikings of Scandinavia, having ravaged Europe and established outposts on Iceland and Greenland, have just interrupted tens of thousands of years of hemispheric estrangement. They promptly kill their 8 Native American captives. This small band of Norsemen are led by Thorvald Eriksson. His brother Leif earlier made landfall on the American coast, but failed to encounter any native inhabitants. Now the swarm of indigenous canoes comes into view. The Vikings gather to their ship for cover. A staccato rain of stonehead arrows beats against their raised shields. After some time, the siege ends, and the indigenous people paddle away. But a fateful arrow protrudes from the trembling side of Thorvald Eriksson. He asks his men to lay him to rest in this foreign soil, with a pair of crosses at his head and feet. After the captain's final orders are carried out, his men return to the American settlement founded by Leif Erikson and return to Greenland in the spring. But soon there is another stir, a distant toll of iron and plumes of listless smoke. Dragon boats cruise along the water's edge. A man called Thorfinn Karlsefni has reached the Leif Erikson settlement, along with a party of nearly 70 settlers, Christian and pagan alike. It seems divine favor has blessed these seagoing people with a beached whale from which to feed. They settle warmly in their sod houses for the long winter. One day, out of the spring woods, people appear. Although frightened at first by the Norse bull, they soon open their packs to present warm pelts from the local fauna and gesture toward the Norse weapons. Through guarded and fumbling attempts to communicate, Karlsefni makes clear that he will not trade his iron weapons. Instead, he offers the milk of their livestock. The Native Americans take delight in the strange beverage, trading all of their pelts for it. Then they disappear again. Karlsefni orders his men to build a palisade around the settlement. The people return in the fall in greater numbers with more pelts. In the tense reunion, one Native American attempts to take an iron weapon, and a Viking strikes him dead.
See, the Native Americans were literally just trying to trade, bro.
The other Native Americans flee, but Karlsefni anticipates retaliation. He sends out his Norse warriors to lure them into the forest, and then they ambush them. Tomahawk and arrow meet axe and shield. The Vikings scatter the Native Americans and leave a number of them dead in the woods. Karlsefni's expedition remains at the settlement for the winter. Then they load their ships with American grapes and pelts and depart. This story comes directly from the Saga of the Greenlanders, one of two Icelandic sagas that record the Viking settlement of Greenland, Leif Erikson's voyage to mainland America, and the Viking expeditions to the American lands they called Markland, Helluland, and Vinland. The other, called the Saga of Eric the Red, tells this same fundamental story with important differences. It combines the expeditions of Thorvald and Karlsefni into one, and records a massive battle in which Native Americans kill multiple fleeing Vikings, who are, in turn, only rescued when the brave woman Freydis scares off the Native Americans by beating her exposed breast with a sword. Both sagas are the products of oral histories, probably.
Did you hear that? They said that she scared off the Native Americans by beating her titties with a sword. So she had a sword and she was, ah! Native Americans was like, God damn, this bitch crazy. That's dope though. That's dope.
Probably first written down in the early 1200s. Each is clouded by medieval folklore. Corpses reanimate to give prophecies, and disembodied voices guide the explorers. In Eric's saga, Thorvald is killed when a one-legged creature shoots an arrow into his groin. These stories are the relics of the closing of an age. As Viking clans coalesce into kingdoms and the Scandinavian settlements on Greenland are abandoned, and the old tales of a short-lived quest to a western land are resigned to a compendium of rumor and fable, to be told around the hearth or carried far by the traveling merchant. It's in Italy around 1340 that a monk relays what he's heard of Markland. Further westwards, there is another land named Markalada, where giants live. In this land, there are buildings with such huge slabs of stone that nobody could build with them except huge giants. However, no sailor was ever able to know anything for sure about this land or about its features. In 1492, the Vatican records that no news has come from Greenland, that country at the end of the world, in 8 decades. Christopher Columbus reaches the Bahamas that same year. Scholars are left to doubt that the Vikings ever reached mainland North America. Until, in 1960, archaeologists in Newfoundland discover mounded ruins. Excavations will resurface sod houses, an iron forge, and chopped wood recently dated to the year 1021. Here, the contemporaries of the Erickson brothers and Karlsefni may have traded with indigenous people and launched expeditions possibly as far south as Maine or New York. But after a handful of years, the mighty Vikings abandoned their colony, mysteriously retired from their efforts to expand their domain westward in a bountiful country. A tentative mapping of their expeditions reveals that the Norse had likely met the ancestors of the Beothic or Dorset Native Americans, a people whose resistance may have been the death knell for these first European settlements in the Americas. Thus reads the saga of Eric the Red. Although the land was excellent, they could never live there in safety or freedom from fear because of the native inhabitants. So they made ready to leave the place and return home. If America...
I didn't know that Vikings discovered America before Christopher Columbus. Something that history doesn't teach you, huh? Alright, okay. Great video. Clearly, it seems like the Native Americans won. The Vikings didn't want to continue to battle and see what's up with America. They just said, bro, it's not worth it. Let's get out of here. I figured that, you know what I'm saying, if Vikings came to America, the Native Americans would win. They know the land way better. You're in a foreign land. You don't know anything. You know what I'm saying? But the Vikings are just beastie. Like he said in the video, the Vikings conquered a lot of Europe. You know what I'm saying? They would just go around looking like warriors. Like, hey, Vikings! Fire, bro. Anyway, let me know what you guys thought about this video down in the comments. I know this video is a lot different than what I usually do, but I enjoyed myself. I'm going to see y'all next time. Shout out to the gang. Yeah. Peace.